Hey, I'm Noodle Yeti, and I am stoked we just got these new DLC and the, in quotes, free update. Originally, I only wanted to buy the Industries District theme, but I decided to buy the Hotels DLC as well, and I'm not disappointed. Anyways, I'd first like to cover some of the free stuff that I'm most stoked about, show it off to you, and share how it'll impact my city. Warehousing. Alright, so they actually fixed the empty warehouse bug, where any warehouse set to empty could no longer receive any sort of city services, or actually I don't think anybody could path to it at all. People couldn't get to work, garbage couldn't get picked up, crematoriums and cemeteries couldn't reach it, so there was just a lot of problems going on there. They fixed that, but they still did not fix the fill warehouse issue. As you can see over on the left-hand side, we are importing agricultural products. And you could probably also see the cattle farm right there is importing crops. All the while, our fill warehouse over here does not send a single truck out to satisfy any of our own city's crop demand for a whole hour and 20 minutes. In fact, I don't even think it would ever send one out. I just gave up, or actually I got back from running my errands and then edited the time lapse, but point still remains. Fill warehouses do not actually work right now. It's good that they fixed the empty one, because now you could set certain warehouses to empty, such as this grain silo here, and all of your crop fields will then set, if they're not trying to top off your factories or your fill warehouse, they will instead send it to the empty warehouse to then be exported immediately. So it's one way that you can help control traffic. So that way, instead of the farm itself sending its trucks out from its location, it now sends it to your little warehousing district. And then from here, they'll send all the trucks over here to the cargo train terminal, airport, down to the harbor, whatever exporting methods you use. It's just one way to control your flow of traffic. All right, as for the fishing industry, this is the one that I'm actually the most excited about. There's a lot changed to it. We can now add fish to warehouses, as well as adding in a new unique factory. And I think that is absolutely incredible. If we come down here and we look at our unique factory, you can see it takes fish and plastics, which means before we can actually implement this into our city, we're going to need to expand our plastics production, because I'm going to pause it. Well, it's complaining about not enough special goods, but I'm pretty sure it was complaining about plastic, because that's the only one our factories ever complain about. So I'm going to go ahead and, I know I spent a lot of time adding all these beautiful rocks in here, but I'm going to go ahead and demolish a bunch of these and put down a bunch of plastic production. Alright, so I've added in a whole bunch of plastic production. I've added in 4 new plastic production plants. We've even upgraded our oil storage. I am going to leave it on balance since fill still does not work. I've also added in a couple workers' barracks, as well as a maintenance building to increase our storage efficiency and our work efficiency. Just that way we can produce a little bit more plastics. So anyways, you're not here for increasing our plastic production. Oh, and during that time our oil industry had leveled up. But now it's time for the actual fishing industry, right over here. Now, we have a lot of fish, and we currently run into trouble with our shellfish fishing harbor, where every now and again, it will start to complain about not enough buyers for its fish. Now that we can put fish in warehousing, I actually kind of want to add in the new warehouse we just got, which is the warehouse with railway connection. Oh, wait, hold on a minute here. I didn't do enough research on this, and it doesn't look like its rail connection is on the correct side. Let's put it down and see. Yeah, so I have an idea. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to reorganize some of these roads. All right, so space is actually really tight over here. And well, it also turns out that you can actually hook up a train line right into it. So you can ignore this little bit that comes out at an angle. And there's a node right there at the entrance of the door that you can hook into and bring the rail line straight out from there, which is actually incredible. I wish it had access on the other side though, make it bi-directional, but unfortunately that's just not the way it works. And so I've actually extended the rail line down all the way over here, caused it to go underground, curved it, and then hooked it back up into the rail line over here. I'm really excited about this. This should theoretically fix our shellfish fishing harbor's inability to get rid of all of its fish. Now I wonder, when it reaches, since it's balanced, once it reaches I think 70 something %, will it just automatically send a truck or will it send a train? I don't know. I'm going to kind of sit here and find out. I think it'll be really cool to watch, really cool to find out. So I'll be right back. All right, so our warehouse here that's set to balance for fish with the railway connection, it's now at 100% full with 30 out of 30 trucks in use, and it hasn't decided to use the train yet. But if you watch the storage, occasionally it dips down a whole bunch. So I think it's trying to export the goods, but it just can't. I think something's going on where maybe I didn't build the rail line properly, and I don't know. I don't know why it's doing that. Maybe I'm not actually allowed to come out at an angle like this. Nope, that didn't work either. Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? So I wonder what's going on. I think it has something to do with this warehouse in particular, which kind of sucks. I was really hoping to use this, but I guess so. We'll just leave it like that, and then maybe one day Colossal Order will actually fix it so it's usable. But yeah, anyways, I'm pretty sure by now our plastic production has in fact increased dramatically, I hope at least. So we could probably get away with putting down the new unique factory for the fish. So I'm thinking we're probably going to want to put down a small warehouse yard somewhere over here, just to hold its plastics, and I think that would be a pretty good idea. Maybe put it down right there, and set this to plastics and balanced. That way, the excess plastic that's being produced over there on that end of town will be stored over here, and hopefully this thing will choose to pull its plastics from there. I am going to go ahead and put down another one of these, set this one to empty for fish, just that way we have one that will always try and export while this one over here is on balanced, struggling to even do its job. I wonder if they gave it, nope. I was really hoping that they gave us some generic fishing industry buildings as well. That would be really cool. Another way to process our fish and turn them into commercial zone goods. That way we don't have to have the same building repeated throughout the entire fishing industry. But that's okay. I think what they gave us is plenty enough, and I already have a lot of ideas of how I'd like to create cities in the future with this. I almost forgot to mention in this section that the seafood factory here only costs 1,700 of materials, and at 150% it produces 1,400 or 14,400. That's just absolutely insane. Almost a 14 times return on your money. That is just absurd. I'm thinking with mods you can create a really profitable fishing village with this. Holy cow. All right. Well, I guess that's it for the fishing industry. This is what I'm most excited about, and I cannot wait to build more cities in the future with this. Or at least one more city until City Skylines 2 comes out. I believe that pretty much covers it for the fishing industry. I got our warehouses down, got everything else here, and now we just have to wait for this one to work. So there's another thing that I am excited about, and that's actually the airport aprons. And I believe if we come into our transportation tab, airport, we have a couple concrete slabs. Now I'm not going to go through and actually do all this. I might actually just do the inside of this runway. As you can see, they snap to roads. You can place them freehand, I should say. It's pretty neat. I really like it. I think it's pretty cool. And just look at that. It's really easy to work with. I'm not going to go around and do anything crazy with this in this episode, but it's definitely something that I'm going to be using in the future for detailing and things like that. I think it just adds so much, and it just makes the airport look a lot cleaner. And I think the next thing after this is actually some new roads. I mean, we have a whole bunch of trolley bus things and trolley bus roads and even different kind of trolleys. I'm thinking when I work up here in the future, I'll implement a trolley bus system in here. And that's how I'll have some of these public transportation set up, similar to how we have the tram on the other side of the river that goes from one end of the city to the other. up here we could implement a trolley bus, and I think that would be really neat. Hey, future me here, coming back because I realized I forgot to actually show you the trolley bus roads that we got that I'm so excited for. So it looks like we have a bunch with bike lanes now, which is, I find that to be absolutely huge. I love biking. I love to put it in my cities that I build. And we have things like the 2-lane road with trolley bus wires and bike lanes, the 4-lane road with trolley wires and bike lanes, and even a 6-lane road with median trees, trolley bus wires, and bike lanes. My goodness, that is a long name. And we've also received pedestrian streets with trolley bus wires. And I cannot wait to use these. I really want to implement this up at the top of my city. And yeah, anyways, those are the roads. But we do have some other roads. We got a bunch of new industry ones. We even got a 6-lane industry road. And I'm actually really stoked for this. I want to upgrade this bridge, these center roads here. Those businesses don't like it, but you know what? Now we have a higher capacity in here. And we even have a 2-unit wide 4-lane road. And so we can get rid of this other one and actually put one in that makes sense for the area. Maybe in City Skylines 2, they'll give us the ability to make our own roads, like a road creator. Kind of like how they have the asset creator and the map editor. But we'll find out. I believe that's it for all the free stuff. And I think now is when I'd actually like to get into the DLC. So I personally, out of everything that was released, I only wanted to buy the hotels and retreats and industries. Well, actually, I didn't want to buy hotels. I ended up doing it because I just wanted to check out the new mechanics, seeing how it is, because I figured there's probably going to be something similar to it in City Skylines 2. So might as well get myself familiar with it and how it works. But anyways, I think the first one I want to take a look at is actually the Industries DLC. Now we have a whole lot of empty space over here, and I do not want to actually just massively zone in industry over here because, well, we only have one intersection over here. So I think that would be absolutely awful. I think it would backlog this area up with traffic. But what we can do is zone in just a little bit around here and just kind of look at it, watch it grow in, see what the buildings look like. So we paint our district in over here, and we need to go to our default style, or our district styles, and select Industrial Evolution. I'm thinking this could end up looking pretty neat. I'm thinking it would be really cool, I think, if we had like somewhat of like a row of industry back here. I'm going to leave room in between them so that way I can put in things later when I'm trying to focus on something else. I think these are looking pretty good. I really ooh, in the sunlight, that brick looks really cool. I'm liking that a lot. Oh, I like the look of that one too. That actually looks really neat. I like how it's got like the junk in the back like that. Oh man, I can actually see a lot of uses for this, where maybe like you want to create some kind of like old town or old district or something, and you just make them historical at level 1. And I think I heard a ding, so let's go. I have a feeling it was this one over here. I think that also looks really cool. This is like more, it looks more like of a modern type look, or not a modern, but just typically what you would see in an industrial area. And I think this looks really cool. And same with this one. That one looks really cool. Oh, that's level 3. Wow, that definitely is more modern. I like how it doesn't have a smokestack on it. I think that is absolutely huge. This does get me curious though, because we do have, what is this called? Industrial specializations. And I wonder if these are compatible with each other. So you know what? I'm going to kind of find out over here. We see this guy, we're going to push back this zoning over here. And we're going to create a new zone. Give this one the Industrial Evolution. And let's try out giving it farming. Alright, so as it turns out, you cannot give it farming as well as the Industrial Evolution, which is unfortunate, but that's okay. I wasn't expecting that to actually work, but that would have been pretty neat if you could do the Industrial Evolution over some sort of specialization. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the industrial one. It's not much to it, it's just a theme. I really like it. I was really excited for it. And now that I'm thinking about it, I think the level 1 version of these with the kind of brick buildings and things like that, if we look at this one growing in, I think this actually fits very well with the, what is it? The Brooklyn and Queens brick buildings. Although you probably wouldn't want to mix industry and residential, but that's besides the point. Maybe you can have these districts near each other and make that like your old town or something like that. I think it fits very well. Anyways, let's get into the one you're probably here for. Hotels and retreats. So I'd actually like to start by looking at our info view here, the new one we got called Hotel Locations. It kind of looks like, well, I mean, I think I'm not surprised that this area looks like it's very desirable for hotels, considering we have an amusement park, an airport, a stadium. And it's also no surprise to me that it's a hotspot for shopping with all of our tourism and leisure over here. And our businesses with all the offices. And of course, there's no nature there. It really looks like they really like the nature up here. So let's go ahead and keep thinking. Let's look at these other ones. This budget hotel here looks like, if you look at the little panel on the right, it looks like it requires a little bit of sightseeing, a lot of shopping, a lot of business, and almost no nature. And so if we, oops, I don't want to actually click on it. So we know we need to look at the first three, but mostly the middle two. Ooh, sorry, that's something else I want to pay attention to. So do we have a football game coming up? And then we're going to take a look at how many tourists we have. So right now we have 2,400 tourists in our city with a city attractiveness of 74%. And let's see how this impacts it. So we know for that first hotel we saw, we need shopping and business. So I think we want to find a place where I'm assuming green is good, according to this legend up in the left. So we want to find an area where these two areas have green and they are overlapping. And it looks like we have a lot of area near the stadium, specifically over here by our hangars, as well as over here right next to the stadium. It did need a little bit of sightseeing, but those weren't as important. So it looks like it's limiting us to possibly right over here in this area or right over here in this area. Now let's see if we have some overlap in those spots. And it looks like we do. So I'm thinking let's minimize this. Keep in mind where that location is. It looks like it was over here. It's going to make me feel bad demolishing some of these buildings, but you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and do it anyways. Let's see. This corner is looking pretty good. Looks like it'll fit if we demolish these two buildings. So I think I'm going to check out our info views again. So it has a lot of sightseeing. Ooh, but it's low on shopping right there and a little bit low on business. So we might want to move it across the street over here. We could probably get away with putting it right here. So I'm just going to put it down just so we could actually start working on this. I'm thinking that actually looks pretty cool. I like that. I like the facade. I like the just general look of it. If we come in here, its popularity rating is 90%. Now, I'm kind of curious, because can we fake the nature rating? It does not look like we can fake the nature rating like we can with the, what's it called, in forestry industry. A bit unfortunate. It would have been pretty neat to be able to cheese that by just slapping down a bunch of trees like I just did. Especially if it only requires like 10. So we have 63 out of 70 guests. We're making 588 a week. What happens if we slam this up to the top? So we're definitely lost guests. Looks like we lost about 4 guests right there. Oh, more than that. Looks like we're losing about 10 guests. But now our income is 700 a week. Let's see if we continue to lose. No, it looks like it's plateaued out now at 56 out of 70. So we increased our income. Only lost a few guests, and I think that makes perfect sense considering we have the stadium right there. Hotels are probably going to be really expensive. Now, we do have this thing here that says manage hotels, and I'm kind of curious, so let's click on that. Okay, so it's like the airport, so you could rename it. You can choose your logo, and you can choose your logo color. You got the budget. Oh, when you click on it, it takes you right to the hotel. That's kind of neat. And so we have level up requirements with average popularity, weekly profit. So basically you just have to think about where you're putting your hotels and also your price points for them. Now, something I'm starting to realize is how it says shopping locations, business locations, and sightseeing locations. I think the only one that you're not, it doesn't appear that we could choose the nature location with trees. So I'm thinking that's the only one you actually have to plan out. It looks like the other three are ones that you can create. How we have like the stadium and all of this commercial and amusement park and the airport and all that over here. Oh my goodness, hold on a second here. So many people are dead. What's going on? What happened? What is going on? Why are so many people dying? What is happening? Why is our entire city dying? Average health 78%, elder care 72%, 75 years. We only have one sick senior. Well, oh my goodness. Well, shoot, howdy. Why are so many people all over the city dying all at once? I'm at a loss for words here. What in the world is going on? All right, well, I think we're just going to keep our heads down and keep focusing on the hotels and let that ride out. I can't even remember where we were. I think I'm just going to leave that hotel be and see if we can put down another one. So I kind of want to see, because it looks like it's so far an easy way to just increase your city's income. And if we go into our tourist view here, we drop down in tourists. Wait, hold on. That makes sense. We'll have to wait till it's not raining to check our tourism. It doesn't look like the hotel adds attractiveness, but you can see it definitely houses, it obviously houses tourists. So let's see what happens if we add down another hotel. So what is this one over here? This one houses 50 guests. How many does this one house? 70. So this one does 50. 120 a week in upkeep, 25. It needs a lot of sightseeing and a lot of shopping, very little business and very little nature. So let's look at our view here. It needs a lot of sightseeing and a lot of shopping. So it looks like we could put it right over here next to the metro if we wanted to. It'll also be covered by business. And if we put it right on this corner, it should also receive a little bit of nature. So let's see how well it fits right here. And looking at that, you can see how it has that flat side. I'm thinking of putting it on this road since you can see this other one has windows. Something like that. And then how it's butted up against this building over here. I think that fits. And this one has a popularity only 85%. Why is that only 85%? You have almost everything met. How is that zero nature? If we look at nature, you're kind of right on the edge. Yeah, you're still in the edge, so how's that zero? Well, that's lame. Let's see what happens if we slam the ticket price up. Okay, so that's interesting. And it looks like we're now at a 2-star hotel thing. And we're making a total profit of 1,200. And I actually like that it counts it as profit. I found it super annoying in some of the other things where it just shows you the total and it doesn't subtract your upkeep from it. I could see this one has a profit of 480. We come back in here and profit 480. That's really nice that it actually accounts for the upkeep. It makes things a lot easier when looking at your spreadsheets. Let's see here. So we should have just got, we got 3 new ones. So we got a small hotel, an old inn, as well as a roadside motel. So this first one here holds 90 guests. It requires a little bit of sightseeing, a lot of shopping, a little bit of offices, and even less nature. What did it say it needed? A lot of sightseeing? No, a lot of shopping with a little bit of sightseeing. So it looks like we're going to want to put it somewhere over here. It doesn't want any offices, right? Oh no, it wants a little bit of offices. So if we go over here to business, all right, so there's a lot here, there's a lot here, and it needs a little bit. So we probably want to put it closer to the right side where our harbor over here is. I'm thinking right where over here where this building is, and it looks like, ooh, that's going to destroy a lot of buildings. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and put it down right here, and we will see what happens. Oh, jumpy. So, wow, this one has a popularity rating of 97. Let's just go ahead and slam the ticket price all the way to the top here. Let's kind of check out to see how this one looks. Oh, I think that looks really silly. I think it looks really silly right up next to the, whatever this is, the wall-to-wall office building. It kind of sticks out a little bit. It doesn't really fit in this area. I think I'm going to leave it alone. I think the fact that it stands out is perfectly fine. Might make it easier for tourists to find it if they're coming from the Harbor Ferry Hub and they're like, oh, it's on the other side of the block, and you come over here. Easy to see, easy to get to. And we're making over 1,000 a week from this. My goodness. So I think this is actually a really cheesy way to increase your profit. So let's go ahead and look at our tourism tab, 2,300. So, and it's not raining and it's the second month. We come over here, we have a match in a month. So our tourists are actually going to go up. Do we have a concert coming up? We have a concert right now. So I actually don't think that hotels increase the number of tourists. I think they're just a way to maybe control where tourists go and spend their money, as well as just being a really big cheesy way to make more money. I mean, so far we've only put down, what is this, 3 hotels. We have a total profit of 2,500. Yeah, I'm really thinking this is a really cheesy way to increase your income. And it's also something that you have to plan out when you are planning new areas. So it's like if I want to put down this stadium, and I'm like, okay, well, I know this stadium has an upkeep of 6,400 a week, but it also provides a metric ton of, what is this new metric called? A metric ton of, looks like sightseeing. Looks like it really adds to sightseeing. Or even like this amusement park, you put that down and you're like, okay, this adds a ton of sightseeing or whatever. It has an upkeep of whatever. And then you just put down enough hotels around it to cancel out that upkeep. All right, so I have absolutely no idea what's going on with all these dead people and why it's going on right now. But I just decided to slap down a few crematorium parks and just hopefully, what is that, 15, 30, 45 more hearses will help out with this. And then maybe when it's over, I can turn a couple of these off or something. That is absolutely crazy. No idea what's going on there. All right, so I put down another small hotel over here. And I decided to put it right across the way from the metro here and the football stadium. And it's doing great, 90% popularity. It's making over 1,200 a week. I'm actually impressed with how much money these earn and how little they actually impact your city. And it looks like the difference between 97 and 90% at the maximum price doesn't really affect the number of guests. And I'm wondering where the breakpoints are for the price points here. I don't know if maybe a hotel in the 80s might be suffering a little bit for guests and profit with the maximum price. Not quite sure how that all works, but I definitely think it's such a cheesy and easy way to increase your city's income. But yeah, I think that's definitely very interesting. I really like this. It does not increase your number of tourists or your city's attractiveness. So I think it's kind of, if I were to try and compare this to another mechanic in the game, I would compare it to warehousing, and I would also compare it to, actually, I would just compare it to industries, except all of the types of areas that the hotels would want to be in, instead of being like a resource that you can't put down like oil and minerals, you're able to create those. If you're making something like a stadium area or an amusement park, then you're creating the areas for these hotels to go, and it just exponentially increases your income from those areas. And it's just something you got to think about in the planning phase when you're first thinking about building an area out. I think it's really cool. I really like it. I actually think it's well worth the money now that I'm thinking about it. I think it was a really well-designed thing. It just takes a little bit of thought in planning when you're putting things down, and then it's just automatic, weekly, lots of money. But yeah, I like it. I don't mind. And you can see our income, our money has been going up since I put the hotels down, so they're definitely working. And yeah, I think that's about it. I think that's all I wanted to cover. I'm excited, and I can't wait to start incorporating the hotels into the future areas I build. So yeah, thank you for watching. I appreciate your viewership. It does mean a lot to me, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
I saw diamonds and skies, and I did all for you, 'cause you wanted me to. In your eyes I saw diamonds and skies, and I did all for you, 'cause you wanted me to.